All right, let's dive deep today. We're tackling Palantir Technologies. They're the ones helping organizations, sift through mountains of data, find those golden nuggets of insight, basically. They're like the Sherlock Holmes of the digital age. We've got financial news, analyst reports, stock trends, all laid out in front of us here. And our mission is to get you prepped for their upcoming earnings report on February 3rd, 2025.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to piece together the clues, see if we can crack the case of Palantir's future. And to get started, let's look back at their recent performance. It's quite a year.
Okay, so set the scene for us. What kind of numbers are we talking about here?
Well, in the third quarter of 2024, Palantir pulled in a hefty $725.52 million in revenue. That's almost 3% higher to what analysts were predicting. It's part of a trend, too. Back in the third quarter of 2023, their revenue was only $558.16 million. So
Yeah.
they're definitely on a growth trajectory.
Wow, that's a huge jump. But revenue is only part of the picture, right? What about earnings per share?
You're absolutely right. Earnings per share, or EPS, is a key indicator of a company's profitability. And in Q3 of 2024, Palantir hit $0.10 per share, beating the estimate of $0.09. And here's the kicker. They've been consistently exceeding expectations. Remember back in the second quarter of 2024, they beat estimates there too.
So they're not just meeting expectations, they're blowing them out of the water. It's no wonder their stock is up over 144% year to date. But let's talk about the big event, the upcoming earnings report on February 3rd. What's the buzz? What are analysts predicting this time around?
Well, the big question is, can they keep this streak going? Analyst projections for EPS are currently sitting at $0.09. A 10% increase from last quarter. And on the revenue front, things are looking even more interesting. Projections are hovering around $705.1 million. That would be a 26.3% increase year over year.
Hold on, a 26% increase? That's huge. What's driving that kind of growth?
That's where it gets really fascinating. One of the key drivers is their artificial intelligence platform, known as AIP. This isn't just some, run-of-the-mill software. It's a game changer. That's proving incredibly valuable across multiple industries, from healthcare to supply chain management. We're talking about the power to make sense of massive amounts of data and extract actionable insights that were previously hidden.
It's not just about collecting data. It's about turning that data into something useful, something that can actually make a difference. No wonder companies are clamoring for this kind of technology. But I'm guessing it's not just the AIP, right? What else is contributing to Palantir's success?
You're right. It's not a one-trick pony. Palantir has also been incredibly strategic in forging partnerships. Think Tampa General Hospital, Panasonic Energy. These are major players, and they're choosing Palantir. These partnerships aren't just about signing contracts. They're about building lasting relationships that open doors to new markets and demonstrate the versatility of Palantir's technology.
Okay, so they've got groundbreaking technology, a growing list of high-profile partnerships, and a stock that's been on fire. It's starting to sound like a recipe for success. But I know there's always another side to the coin. What are the potential risks we need to consider?
That's a great question. And it's important to remember that no investment is without risk. One thing that stands out is Palantir's valuation. With a price-to-sales ratio of around 36, they're definitely priced for continued aggressive growth. If they stumble, that stock price could be vulnerable to a pretty steep drop.
So there's definitely a lot riding on those guidance updates and future earnings reports. What else should investors be paying attention to?
Well, another potential risk lies in their reliance on guidance updates. If those projections start to fall short of expectations, it could shake investor confidence.
That makes sense. Investors are betting on the future, and those guidance updates are a window into what that future might hold. Anything else, that's setting off alarm bells.
Another point of concern is customer acquisition and retention. Their overall commercial customer count is still relatively low. So the question becomes, can they attract new clients? And just as importantly, can they keep those clients happy and coming back for more?
So scaling up their commercial business is going to be a crucial challenge for Palantir. It's not enough to just have a great product. They need to build a sustainable business model. Anything else on the risk radar?
One more thing that's been raising eyebrows is insider selling. CEO Alex Karp and co-founder Peter Thiel have both been selling off significant chunks of their shares recently. Now, it's important to remember that insider selling doesn't always signal doom and gloom. There can be personal financial reasons behind these decisions.
It's like seeing your favorite chef stop eating at their own restaurant. It makes you wonder, what do they know that we don't? But you're right, it doesn't necessarily mean the food is bad. What's your take on this? Is it a red flag or just business as usual?
It's hard to say for sure, but it's definitely something to watch closely. It could simply be a matter of diversifying their portfolios, or it could be a sign of waning confidence in Palantir's future. Only time will tell.
Okay, so we've got a lot to think about here. Palantir is a company with incredible potential, groundbreaking technology, a growing network of partners, and a stock that's been on an upward trajectory. But they're not without risks. High valuation, dependence on guidance updates, the challenge of scaling their commercial business, and those intriguing insider stock sales. It's shaping up to be a fascinating story, and I'm eager to see what unfolds.
Me too. And to make things even more intriguing, we haven't even delved into the competitive landscape yet. Palantir isn't the only player. In this game,
You're right, the world of AI and data analytics is getting crowded. We'll have to tackle that in our next segment. But for now, we've laid a solid foundation. We've explored Palantir's recent performance, the factors driving their growth, and some of the potential risks they face. We've given you, the listener, a lot to chew on. So grab a coffee, let this information sink in, and get ready, because we're just getting started.
welcome back to our deep dive into Palantir technologies. Before we jump into what all this means for you and your investment strategies, I wanted to circle back to something we touched on earlier. Those insider stock sales.
You're right, we can't just gloss over that. It's definitely something that's been on investors' minds, after all. When high-profile figures, like the CEO and co-founder, start selling off large chunks of their stock, it can raise some eyebrows.
Yeah, it's important to remember that insider selling doesn't always signal a lack of confidence in the company. There can be a variety of reasons behind these decisions. Personal financial planning, diversification of assets, you name it.
Right. It's not necessarily a sign that the ship is sinking, but it does warrant further investigation. What have you uncovered in our sources?
About these insider sales.
Well, some analysts have pointed out that Alex Karp has been selling shares for a while now as part of prearranged trading plan. This suggests that these sales aren't necessarily a reaction to any negative information or a sudden shift in his outlook on the company.
It's more of a routine financial move rather than a panic reaction.
Yeah, exactly. But Peter Thiel's recent sales have attracted more attention because he's been steadily decreasing his stake in Palantir over the past few years.
That does raise some questions. Is there any indication of why he might be reducing his holdings?
There's many. There's been speculation that Thiel might be shifting his focus and investments towards other ventures, particularly the political and philanthropic realms. It's no secret that he's a prominent figure in those areas. So while his stock sales have undoubtedly sparked debate, it's important to consider the broader context of his investment strategy and long-term goals. We can't just assume it's a vote of no confidence in Palantir.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of competition, this brings us to another crucial aspect of Palantir's story. The AI landscape is evolving rapidly, and new players are emerging all the time. How is Palantir positioned to maintain its edge?
That's a great question. They've definitely established themselves as a leader, but they can't afford to rest on their laurels. The competition is fierce.
One of their key advantages is their focus on specific niche markets, particularly in the government and defense sectors. They've built a strong reputation for delivering tailored solutions to these complex industries.
It's not a one-size-fits-all approach, right? They really understand the unique needs of their clients in these specialized areas.
Precisely. They've also invested heavily in building a robust ecosystem of partners and integrators, which helps them expand their reach.
And capabilities. So they're not just going it alone, they're building a network of collaborators to enhance their offerings. It's smart, leveraging the expertise of others to strengthen their own position.
Exactly. But it's not just about partnerships. They're also laser-focused on innovation. They're constantly developing new AI-powered tools and features to stay ahead of the curve.
They're not just keeping up with the competition, they're setting the pace. That's got to be a challenge in such a fast-moving field.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
But they've shown a real commitment to pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI. However, there are some formidable competitors out there. Companies like C3.ai and Snowflake are also making waves in the enterprise AI space.
Those are names we hear a lot these days. What are their strengths and weaknesses compared to Palantir?
C3.ai is known for its strong focus on industrial AI applications, while Snowflake is a leader in cloud-based data warehousing.
So each have their own specialties. How does Palantir differentiate itself in this crowded market?
Palantir sets itself apart through its deep expertise in complex data integration and analysis, particularly for sensitive government and defense applications. It's a different ballgame than what C3.ai and Snowflake are doing.
It's a bit of a different playing field, isn't it? But are those lines blurring as the commercial sector embraces more advanced AI solutions?
Definitely. As AI becomes more mainstream, those distinctions are starting to fade. It's going to be an interesting battle to watch as these companies compete for market share.
Okay. So we've talked about the competitive landscape, but let's bring this back to you, our listener. What is all this information about Palantir's performance, growth prospects, and potential risks mean for your investment strategy?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Oh.
And it's one that only you can answer.
That's right. It's important to remember that this deep dive is for informational purposes only, and we're not providing financial advice. Investing in the stock market always carries inherent risks. It's crucial to do your own thorough research and consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any investment decisions.
Absolutely. We're just here to equip you with the knowledge you need to make those informed decisions.
So, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's talk about some key takeaways for investors who might be considering adding PLTR to their portfolios. First and foremost, Palantir is a growth stock. They've demonstrated an impressive track record of revenue growth and are well-positioned to continue expanding in the coming year.
However, with growth comes volatility. Their stock price can fluctuate significantly, especially around earnings announcements and in response to market sentiment. So, it's not for the faint of heart.
It's important to have a long-term investment horizon and be comfortable with some level of risk.
Exactly. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's about investing in a company that you believe in for the long haul.
Right. Another key factor to consider is Palantir's valuation. Their high price-to-sales ratio indicates that investors have high expectations for their future growth.
So, they need to deliver on those expectations to justify their current stock price. If they stumble or fail to meet those lofty targets, the stock could experience a significant pullback.
That's the downside of high expectations. But what about the upside? What are the potential rewards for investors who believe?
In Palantir's long-term potential,
If Palantir continues to execute on its growth strategy, expands its market share, and maintains its technological edge, the stock could deliver substantial returns for investors. It's a high-risk, high-reward proposition.
and that's why it's so important to do your due diligence and carefully consider your own investment goals and risk tolerance before making any decision.
Exactly. There's no one-size-fits-all answer here. It's all about finding the right balance for your individual circumstances.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's talk about one more crucial element, their upcoming earnings report on February 3rd, 2025.
Yeah, it's going to be a pivotal moment. That could either validate their current valuation
Right.
or send the stock tumbling.
Investors will be on the edge of their seats, that's for sure. They'll be closely watching their revenue and earnings per share, but they'll also be looking for clues about their future growth prospects, customer acquisition, and any potential challenges they might be facing. It's all about reading between the lines and trying to decipher what the numbers really mean.
And that's where our deep dive comes in handy. We've armed you with the knowledge and insights you need to interpret those results and make informed decisions.
We've laid the groundwork, but the ultimate decision rests with you, our listener. What are your thoughts? On Palantir's future, do you see them as a game changer in the world of data analytics and AI? Or are you skeptical of their lofty ambitions? We'd love to hear your perspectives.
But before you make up your mind, we have one final part of our deep dive to share. Stay tuned, because we're about to uncover some even more fascinating insights from our sources that could shed new light
On Palantir's trajectory. Welcome back to the final part of our Palantir deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground. Their financials, growth strategy, the competitive landscape, even those eyebrow-raising insider stock sales. But
we've saved some of the most intriguing insights for last.
yeah, that's right. We're going to zoom in on some key details that could really make a difference in how you view Palantir's future. Remember those revenue projections we talked about? Well, there's more to the story than just the top-line numbers.
Okay, I'm all ears. Give me the inside scoop.
One of the most compelling things we uncovered is the phenomenal growth of Palantir's commercial business. Analysts estimate that their commercial revenue will reach around $305.2 million in the coming quarter. That's a 32% increase year over year.
Wow, a 32% jump. So their efforts to expand beyond those traditional government and defense contracts really paying off. It seems like they're tapping into a whole new market.
Absolutely. And this shift towards the commercial sector is a crucial part of their long-term strategy. They're betting big on the idea that their AI platform can revolutionize all sorts of industries.
So it's not just about helping governments analyze intelligence data anymore. What kind of commercial applications are we talking about?
Think supply chain optimization, improving healthcare outcomes, even predicting consumer behavior. The possibilities are pretty mind-boggling.
It sounds like they're aiming to be the go-to AI solution for any organization that wants to harness the power of data, whether it's a government agency or a Fortune 500 company. But with this big push into the commercial market, are they taking their eye off the ball when it comes to government and defense business?
That's a great question. And the answer seems to be no. Government contracts are still a major source of revenue for Palantir, and they continue to land significant deals in that space.
So it's more about finding that sweet spot, balancing their existing strengths with these new opportunities.
And the private sector.
Exactly. It's a delicate balancing act, but one that Palantir appears to be managing quite well. But it's not just about winning new customers. It's about keeping them happy and loyal. Remember, we talked about those concerns over customer retention.
Right, that was one of the potential risks highlighted in our research. What are they doing to address that?
Well, it seems Palantir is tackling this head-on. They've been investing heavily in customer support and developing new tools and features that make their platform even more user-friendly and valuable.
It's not just about the technology itself. It's about the whole customer experience. They're realizing that building strong relationships with their clients is just as important as having a cutting-edge product.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap things up, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about something that often gets overlooked in these discussions: the people behind the technology.
You're talking about Palantir's leadership team. What's the story there? Palantir has a reputation for attracting top talent, and their leadership team is no exception. They've got a mix of seasoned tech executives and former government officials, which gives them a unique perspective on the challenges and opportunities facing their clients.
That's a pretty powerful combination. Technical expertise paired with real-world experience in the sectors they serve.
And their CEO, Alex Karp, is a particularly fascinating figure. He's incredibly passionate about the potential of AI to transform the world and believes that Palantir is leading the charge.
He's definitely not afraid to make bold statements and challenge the status quo, which has made him both admired and controversial. It seems like his personality and leadership style have really shaped Palantir's culture.
Absolutely. Now, as we reach the end of our deep dives, let's zoom out and consider the big picture. What are the key takeaways you want our listeners to remember about Palantir?
Well, I think it's clear that Palantir is a company at a crossroads. They've achieved remarkable success in their traditional markets, but they're now facing new challenges and opportunities. As they expand into the commercial world, it's a pivotal moment in their journey.
Their future hinges on their ability to navigate this transition successfully, maintain their technological edge, and build strong, lasting relationships
With their customers.
And of course, their upcoming earnings report will be a major indicator of their progress and direction.
Right. That February 3rd report is going to be a nail-biter, for sure.
It's important to remember that investing in Palantir isn't without its risks. Their high valuation, reliance on government contracts, and the fierce competition in the AI market are all factors to weigh carefully.
It's a high-stakes game, and investors need to be prepared for both the potential rewards and the potential downsides.
But for those who believe in Palantir's vision and are comfortable with the risks involved, it could be an incredibly exciting and a potentially lucrative investment opportunity.
It's a company that's pushing the boundaries of what's possible with data and AI, and they're definitely one to watch in the coming years. So there you have it. We've taken you on a deep dive into the world of Palantir Technologies, exploring their strengths, weaknesses, and the factors that will shape their future.
We've armed you with the knowledge, but now it's up to you to decide what it all means for you.
We encourage you to keep digging, keep researching, and ultimately make your own informed decision about whether Palantir is the right investment for you. And be sure to tune in on February 3rd for those earnings results. We'll be right here with you, analyzing every detail. Until then, happy investing.